Hi there, and thanks for joining us, web developers. Just want to take a minute today to cover some more best practices in monetizing or your blog or increasing engagement and conversion. So right now we have a very simple layout that we covered in a previous video using Beaver Builder as a theme and Beaver Builder Themer as the builder to help us put together a singular blog post layout. So we've got a blog post archive where every blog article is listed. You can see the categories are there. A search is included in this archive layout. But what we're doing now is styling the singular post. So when you click a blog, this is how every single post ends up showing up. The layout is the same for all of them based on the singular blog post that we put together. There's a previous video on how we set that up using Beaver Builder and Beaver Themer. We're going to move on today using Beaver Builder, Beaver Themer, and Ultimate add-ons for Beaver Builder to put some more best practices in place for our singular blog posts so that we can increase engagement and conversion on our blog posts. So the first thing that we're going to do is hop in here to Beaver Builder. If you're on a single blog post, you can see that you can go to the post itself and start to make edits, which we don't want to do because we're using the singular blog post layout. So we don't want to switch to using Beaver Builder on the page itself. We only want to change the layout for all singular blog posts. So that's why we come, instead of going into the singular article, we come to blog post single, which is our singular blog post layout that we've put together in Beaver Builder Themer. Now, if you're wondering where else we can find that, so we can come here to Beaver Builder and go to blog post singular, and that will take us to the themer that we've built for this single blog post, or we can come to Beaver Builder and then themer layouts, and we will also find our blog post single layout there. You can access Beaver Builder there by clicking Beaver Builder from this screen. I'm going to do it straight from our singular blog post page so you can see how easy it is to get to your blog post layout. Also, just having that listed as the article, and you can see that you can preview different blog posts to see what they'll look like by coming into this themer view here and changing preview as. So you can see any blog post that's available and see what that's going to look like. But when you're in the singular post, it's really cool because you can tell if there's a Beaver themer activated on your page because you'll see that the post is available, but also the singular layout's available, which will not happen if we went to the class page as an example. So if we go to classes and we hover over Beaver Builder, there's only access to the page and access to the header and footer. Our header and footer are themer menus that we can access there. But the page itself is just one page and it doesn't have a layout assigned to it that might be active on other pages. It's just we built it in the page itself versus in the themer. So these blog posts, though, you can see have the page itself that you could visit or the blog post singular layout. And if you've got a themer activated, you cannot also use Beaver Builder in the post or page itself. So that is one constraint, that if you've got the themer activated for the page, you cannot use Beaver Builder on the page itself. But we're styling the single blog post page here. And what we've got so far is the post content is here. Post information, like the date and the author, is set. And the post title is set up as the heading in the header here. The other thing that we would like to do, just because it's a best practice for blog posts, is allow the availability on the right-hand side for some search and some navigation. So we're going to put a right sidebar in here. And I'm going to move our post content into the left sidebar. And then on the right sidebar, I want to add a search module. Because allowing people to search for other content on the site is one way to increase your engagement and to increase the number of pages that people are visiting as they are using your page. So we're going to stack the search, and then we can style it different ways. That's one thing I love about Beaver Builder. You can style things a million different ways, and you get so many options available. But this is going to just allow us, I'm going to do the content of the row itself full width while the content of the page is still fixed. Just gives us a little bit more area to play with. And then the other thing I'm going to do here is expand the column on the left and sort of retract this column on the right with the search in it. So the other thing that we'll want to do is add other post content on the right side. So we're going to do a post module. We'll choose in the content, we're going to leave that as posts. So all posts will show up on the right, but we're going to say to exclude the current and actually this is why I had mentioned ultimate add-ons for Beaver Builder, because this is where this comes in really handy. On the Beaver Builder post itself, you cannot exclude the current post from showing up in the post module, but you can with the Beaver Builder post module. UABB post module, which is UABB is Ultimate Add-ons for Beaver Builder. So what we can do is desktop is just going to be one column for the number of posts to show up is going to be one column. The query is going to be posts, and descending by date, exclude the current post, and we're going to say yes. So on any particular page you're on, you will not see in the list on the right-hand side, you will not see the current post there, because that's not very user-friendly. If you're like, hey, you might like these other articles, including the one you're reading right now. So we just like to exclude that. The other control that I want to do here is to take all this meta information off. I think the title, actually the meta information's fine probably. The author and the date should be fine, not showing any categories, but what we'll do is not display the content. So the title and author and when it was written should be fine. And I'm just going to say read article. And in the layout, that's all fine, but I do want this left aligned. I just feel like it looks better. But you can make that decision however you'd like. And then I'm going to add a heading here that just says other articles you might like. I'm going to make it smaller. And then let's see how that works out. Yep. So you've got a search, you've got other articles you might like with a list showing over here, and we've excluded the current article. So just so you can see what that might look like. Oh, that's not going to be, let me see if I can find the most recent post. And preview it from the most recent post, which is going to be about the holidays. And then we should see this. Yep, the holiday post article disappeared. So that is working as we'd like. So one other thing that's a best practice on blogs so that people can get back to where they want, or they get to navigate just a little bit easier, is adding breadcrumbs. There used to be a widget. I think they're not doing widgets anymore for that. So what we'll do is we'll just put a little bit of text here and we'll say, take me back to all articles. I'm going to put this in the smallest, although that font is too small to be legible. And then the other thing that we can do here is put some decoration so that people know. And I'll add an arrow that shows, let's go back. So it's a type of breadcrumb that we're creating ourselves. And then it's going to take us back to the blog. So now on every blog page, we'll have at the very top a way for people to get back to all the blogs. I didn't mean to click that twice. Sorry. Probably made the whole thing longer. Okay, so now we can get back to the blog. And also you can search. So we'll search for something like beginner. So beginner classes, beginner deals. And by the way, this edit button will not show up on the page if they're not logged into WordPress, which they shouldn't be. And you can see the rest of the articles are here. And if I click into any one of these, it will take me to our layout, which now has a search feature. And then it also has other articles that I might like to read. So same layout across the board. So this makes this a lot more usable for your users, adding a way for them to get back, to navigate easily back to the full blog. Because let's just say there are going to be several articles deep into your blog because you're keeping them on the page for longer because we're offering them these options. So the content's still here, but also we have a way to navigate back to the full blog. And we're also serving up other articles that might be appropriate for them to read. In our next video, we'll be talking about ways to further customize your blog layouts so that you can monetize your blog or increase conversions from your blog.